Welcome back to the FreeGame Producer Podcast. We got a very, very special guest in the building, OG, you know what I'm saying, a legend's been around since the 90s. You know, I'm talking about working, you know, as an executive in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. That's 4 different decades if you're keeping track.
Come on.
I'm talking about Newark, New Jersey's finest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Founder of the luxury group. You know, just in the last couple of years alone, he's responsible for producers, managing producers and writers that produce for OLLO G, Lil Durk, Kodak Black, Future, Annuel, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about Cloth Talk. I'm talking about Kai Taylor, a.k.a. Verse. How you doing, sir?
Amazing, so amazing. Say so. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that intro. That's love. That's love. That was different right there. I love that. Big love. I appreciate that. Love.
Listen, bro, thank you for coming on the show, man. You know
thank you for having me, man. I appreciate that, man. Like I told you, you know, I had known another willpower, and I found out there was only one willpower. And I was like, okay, this is not the willpower. Okay, this is the willpower. So big salutations, and I appreciate the invite, and you know, I'm obliged to pull up.
No doubt, man. You know, after doing some more research, man, and just really like, you know, digging in, because we've been doing some business the last couple of weeks, man, and it's been a pleasure, man, to, you know, to rock with somebody that's got, you know, such reach in the game and got, you know, a great great background. You got great history with people. You know, a lot of people are just like, they praise your name when I speak on it.
I appreciate it.
And I just think that that's dope. It's tough to be that in this industry, man.
Sure,
you know?
Keep a clean face. It's different.
Man. It's hard to do that. And people don't realize it, you know, that doesn't come easy.
Not
you know,
whatsoever.
That takes work. It's like you have to really be mindful of the moves you're making, the people you're dealing with, the people you assign yourself to. It's like, it's a lot to think about.
That's right.
So I just want to give you flowers, man, on being able to, you know, continue to build your brand in a positive way.
Thank you, man.
Over so much time. You know what I'm saying?
Preach positivity. Everything's good energy. Everything's good energy.
You know what's really crazy? So we know a lot of the same people.
Okay.
I didn't realize it, man.
Okay.
So my original journey in the music business was, it started in Teaneck.
Oh, New Jersey.
New Jersey, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, I was up there with Sugar Hill.
Oh, wow.
Robinson,
get out of here. Yes,
Leland,
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Dio,
yes, of course. Oh, wow. How about that one?
Dio, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy right there because, you know, Jersey is such a melting pot, super talent. Everybody from Redman to Fugees to, of course, Sugar Hill Gang, you know, comes out of the Garden State, man. So, you know, I'm not surprised that somebody as great as yourself was also co-bred.
Bro, it's so crazy to me, man. Like when I was, you know, doing my research and I saw Dio, he was one of your homies and shit. I was just like, that is my man.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
no, that's family, man.
Yeah.
That's family. Him, Prince Hakeem, you know what I mean? You know, I mean, Hakeem Bell, big shout out Hakeem Bell and, you know, Robert Bell, you know, Cool in the family, Cool in the gang. If you guys know, of course, you know, that's legendary.
Yes, sir.
Once again, Jersey, you heard? You know what I mean? Man. So, yeah, definitely. I appreciate that.
That's dope.
Well, let's start there. I mean, you grew up in Newark. You actually played, was it the saxophone? Or
saxophone, alto sax.
Alto sax. And you got started DJing and rapping.
Yeah, like early. Like, it might have been, man, I ain't going to hold you, probably 92, 93. Of course, my birthday goes along, my age goes along with the year, right? So 12, 13 years old, you know, big shout out DJ Naeem, heavy hitter DJs. You know, Naeem's big deal now, but when we were both growing up, we were teenage DJs. Yeah. You know, and then moms used to rent the U-Haul truck for us and all that. We was DJing house parties.
Dope.
And it was amazing. So, yeah, it started early for me, you know what I mean, playing the sax, you know, being 2 turntables and a mic mixer, you know, carrying crates, you know, and just really being in the space to know like what it took to rock a party, what it took for body rhythm, and that's where a lot of my sonics, you know, education come from there in real life, dope. You know. So. And
you had a major record label deal on the table at like what, 15?
Man, 14, yeah. The committee, we was signing to Sony. Big shout out to Justin Smith. That was Clayton Smith's son. From Cool in the Gang, you know, he was the guitarist, you know, and played bass. And his son, Justin, him and I had a group together called The Committee. And, you know, actually Muhammad Bell and Hakeem Bell, you know, back then they were the ones that actually, you know, brought that to the table for us. Yeah, so that was early on in the game. But, of course, you know, like a lot of groups, we start having that friction, you know what I mean? And then, of course, it didn't take off from there. We kind of separated, went our ways, but it's always love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of the best executives, the best OGs in the industry were the ones that were actually active in this thing.
Sure, that was actually doing it, though. Yeah, a lot of people, they talk about it, they wasn't doing it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And you know what? It's actually kind of hard to come in the game and play an executive role, especially in urban music, man, where, you know, it's all about what you've been through.
Sure.
You know, because you learn how to move as you go.
Yeah, you're living off experience and you're working off experience.
Exactly, man, because, I mean, you know, after 3-4 bad deals or 3-4 good deals, whatever the play may be for you, you tend to, that kind of shapes you. You know what I'm saying? Because I still make some of the same moves. I make better moves now because of the same moves that I saw when I first started.
Sure, they're lessons, not losses.
That's exactly what it is, bro.
1,000%. Yeah, they're lessons, not losses. So that's the reason why we're able to cultivate and move, and that's why you are, and we're able to be as successful still. Yeah. Because had you not had those experiences prior, that was your gladiator school. Yeah, absolutely. You went through it to graduate, and now you can look back and say, hey, lessons are part of my alma mater.
Yeah.
And I think it's dope. You were involved in music way early.
Sure.
Still managed to get a 3.7 GPA in high school.
Sure.
Cornell University, right?
Sure.
Now that's Ivy League for those
that don't know. Cole-ass Ithaca. You know what I mean? Upstate New York.
I've been to Ithaca before. I've been there before. I've been to Ithaca.
Frozen. Like we talking about 5 to 12 and 15, 16 degrees. So you way upstate. Right. Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah. No doubt.
What intrigued me was something that I didn't have access to when I was coming up. I always wanted to get into music.
Sure.
But was it Five Towns College?
Yeah, Five Towns. Big shout out Five Towns in Long Island.
They didn't have those kind of music schools often.
No, they didn't.
They're everywhere now.
Well, back then, okay, now you have your art institutes and your Full Sails and SAEs and stuff. Well, back then, big shout out Five Towns College, like myself, Chrisette Michelle, Allison Carey, Mariah's sister. A lot of us were in there in the years from 98 to 99, 2000, right? And it was a very boutique school, accredited. You can get your business degree from there as well too. Yeah. But I went there to study, audio theory, and audio theory actually came with, understanding, the intake of music sonically.
That's
and
crazy.
Coming from the band space and coming from that, allowed me to say, hey, this is where I would like to position myself, and as well as business and economics, right? Yeah. So, just to tap in on that, it was one of the only schools that had 7 or 8 A rooms, full band rooms. You were learning about the microphone for an hour, omnidirectional, unidirectional. You were learning about that for an hour. And I was like, one of my professors used to say, man, Tyler, you got all the answers. You got all the answers. But I come from that space.
That's
I grew up, I come up from that space. Like Puff, I come up, I was a young boy running around, Biggie right there, and you know what I mean? Like, how could I not soak that up?
Right.
And those questions and answers that I had, I was actually answering those questions because, I was recording on SSL boards in 93, 94. Yeah. So I had known about that already, Phantom and this, that, and the third. I had known about Korg and Tritons and stuff because I was a young boy coming up from reel to reel in DAT tapes.
That's right.
So when I went to college, I was able to actually, not school the professor, but actually receive the information a lot better than the other students.
Yeah, that's dope.
So were you getting internships before then? How did you start walking into like the Bad Boys? Because I know you spent time there interning in Motown.
Yeah, sure.
How did you get into those internships?
Well, to be honest, coming up, my I have a family friend of mine, of course, who has a child by Puff, which is Justin. Big shout out Misa and big shout out Justin. You know what I mean? And those relationships, of course, being younger, allowed me to cultivate and walk in and spend those summers, going in and out of Bad Boy and being, there in the plethora of other executives and kind of learning about being a sponge.
Yeah.
More so than anything.
That's incredible.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like for me, that's what I was in college for. I was in college to say, I want to be in the music business. Like that's what I want to do for a living. I see this. I'm growing up. I'm seeing Faith over here. I'm here. I'm at the house. I'm seeing Black Rob come get signed. I'm seeing Mr. C come up there. I'm a young boy. I'm watching Black Rob rap his lights out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, look at this office. And this is just starting. This is Can't You See? Total Days. This is that. And to look back at it now, of course, it's so royal, right?
Yeah.
But sitting inside that space right there, you don't actually realize how you're part of that history until actually the chapter turns over. So that's how I walked into it. Another friend of mine, when I was at my boy Scotty, when I was in Five Towns, him and I had a apartment together in Brooklyn. Okay. We were doing a roommate thing because we went to college together as well too. And he had worked at Motown. He was hanging up, he was like hanging posters and everything. So I joined him on that route.
Okay.
I wanted to put the work in anyway, of course, and that's like the groundwork.
Yeah.
And I always tell anybody and everybody, every executive, right? Before you pay anybody to do anything, right, in this business, you have to know how to do it yourself.
Right, man.
You should know what it looks like. Like I sat there one day, and I was watching Puff go through, like 7 or 8 or 9 different Mary J. Blige photos that came back in a laminate, and he was looking at them, and he was like, nah, man, they got to do this whole thing over. Now I didn't look like I fucked the work, just looking at it. Pardon me, but You know, like I'm looking out, I don't know. Who am I? I don't know. It's like 92, 93. I don't know, but I just know that right there was saying it was a no-go.
Yeah.
So that means he had to know, he had an eye.
He had to know what he's looking at.
You know what I mean? So that's why with me now, even with the artists that I've worked with all over the years, it's like now before I hire a PR, I know I don't pay to pitch. I pay for result.
Come on.
You know, when
talk about that.
Well, yeah, and just touching on that, just like I know what that looks like. Like, so my artist will come and say, the photographer will show the artist and say, hey, man, what you think about this? But man, ask verse. He know what that shit look like. Yeah. He know what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
It needs to be flared up. You know what I mean? It needs to capture you. So it's like I know that. I know a promo run. I know I don't need $5,000 for you to put posters up.
Yeah.
There's certain things that you should know how to do before you actually instill any vendor to do it.
That's right.
So that's the reason what makes a really, really well-oiled and all-around executive.
Yeah. I know exactly what that's about, man. It's just like with videos, man. Being that I've been behind the camera and know how to edit, it's like you can't just run that game on me.
Period.
It's like, bro, I already know what this is.
And if you didn't know how to run the camera, you know what the outcome is supposed to look like. So if you hire someone and they send you the rough edits and it doesn't look like what you're used to looking at,
that's right.
It has to go back.
Yeah, it has to go back.
That comes from your expertise. It just makes it a plus that you know how to actually operate it.
That's dope. So, for all the different places like that you've actually worked in the business. So you said, you just spoke on street promotion.
Sure.
Like what else? What else was it? Like, how did you get into the position that you're in now? So
walking through it.
Yeah,
So I had a friend of mine, Shareem. He was actually mentored by 45 King. Mm-hmm. Mark 45 King, once again, Jersey.
Yes,
if y'all
sir.
know who 45 King is,
Hard
you know
Knock
what I
Life.
mean?
Jersey.
That's Hard Knock Life. That's Eminem. That's Stan Eminem. That's like so much. Like, the history's there, you know? He was mentored by 45 King, and he was a really good friend of mine. He introduced me to Diamond D.
Shout out Diamond D.
Big shout out Digging the Craze, Diamond D. He's one of my mentor, my active, I should say active performance mentors.
Yeah.
When I say that, he taught me a lot in the music business.
Yes, sir.
Right? My other mentors taught me a lot in the business of music, but he taught me how to count bars. He taught this when I was, when I was a rapper.
Yeah.
It was verse 1 to rap, I was still going in.
That's right.
So my buddy introduced me, went over to Diamond D house. Now, straight up and down, I'm a fan of music. But I told Diamond I wasn't a fan of his. Like, oh man, but I'm an Artifacts dude. I'm a Naughty by Nature guy. I'm a Lord Tariq and Peter Guns guy. I'm not a Diamond D guy. Like, I'm a Diamond D guy on the beats.
Yeah.
And that my honesty had us locked in.
That's dope.
And he locked me in like that.
Yeah.
And then that's how I kind of ushered in from that side, right? And then out of label meetings, you know what I mean? Every other day we're going over, we're at, shout out Dan Tan, I was running Priority. That's when I realized that Master P and them was all controlling that shit. I used to go up to Priority. It was crazy. I'm talking about the kids on desk, Pampers on everything. They doing their number. They going crazy up there. I'm like, what's going on? Man, bro, they making $100 million a year for the label. They do what they want to do. That's when I learned. I said, oh, okay, this shit different. It's about leverage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Leverage,
That's all it's about. And I'm learning this. I'm at, I'm 18 years old. So from coming from that space, I have the big shout out one of my biggest mentors, Bernard Alexander, founder of Akon and 50 Cent, and
I know Bernard too, man.
Yeah, okay. So I talked to Bernard. I've known Bernard since I was 13.
That's what's up.
Bernard kind of nurtured me in the business of music. You know what I mean? He had me sitting down with David Sonnenberg. You know what I mean? Like the founder of Rough House Columbia. You know what I mean? Like it's different. Yeah, I'm quiet at the time. He got Eric Sermon's his best friend. So this is EPMD. This is Def Squad. This is Current. This is Redman. This is then it's like that. So just to not become too long-winded about it, but I always give him his gratitude because it's like Cam and Dame's relationship early on.
Yeah.
Whenever I go and do $1 million deal, I bring him 50,000. Like, that's just what we do, right? But but it's the homage, right? But he showed me how to operate in the business of music, and it was posture. That's how I walked into the mindless behavior
that's
situation.
crazy, bro. It's crazy that you're saying this because my run-in with Bernard was I was working with I was doing content for another exec named Ty V, and she had this girl group or something, and Bernard was kind of like just coming in to like get a head down on that, and that was it. It was like it wasn't a whole. He just came in to give his expertise.
They respect his opinion.
They respected his opinion, man, and I didn't know him that well, but I met him in that moment and was like, he's somebody.
Yes,
that's how this works.
And that's the business of
posture,
being,
bro.
It's posture and having your sponsor. So I want to like tap in on that because as is a segue of going into how did you get in this place? you know, the sponsorship is very important.
Yeah.
To be sponsored or come up under Leo Cohen and, you know, come up under these other people who were my mentors, partners, right? You know, it made a lot to Doug Morris's, the Ron Fairs, and the people that sit on the business of music, right? That's what we don't talk about enough, you know,
That's
the
right.
business of music. And, you know, I think if we did, we would be able to not only give the information, but actually be able to educate. See, that's the problem. We don't educate.
That's right.
So we educate, it sticks to your rib. Information is just like reading a magazine. It's in one ear and out the other. You're not trapping nothing off.
That's right.
But when you're educated, you should be able to go back in the studio, back in the conference. Hey, you got your A&R meeting, go in the boardroom. Hey, I know what I'm talking about.
That's right.
I don't have to read anything.
Come on, man.
So it's just a regurgitation of it and having the education. So I was brought up with the education. So from mindless behavior and to instilling the new, you know, Carmen. I mean, you know, we sat at Jimmy Iovine's house and did that deal. You know, it was like, you know, walking through it, he allowed me to be an executive early. He allowed me to take on an executive role while still working as a worker. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
you know, because an executive is a worker, but if you got boots on the ground and your hands on, I don't care if you're carrying bags or you're booking flights or whatever you're doing, that's a part of it.
Yeah.
And like I say, you should never hire anybody to do anything that you don't know how to do.
That's right.
So if the guy calls you back and say, hey, man, they don't have nothing but coach seats, bro. You know I fly first class, so find another flight.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Just certain things, like, you know, which wouldn't come out like that. Like,
Right.
you know, if you know exactly what you're looking for and what you expect. Because guess what? You know, they say expectation is the thief of joy.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, but I always have to inspect what I expect.
Come on.
You know what I
man.
mean? Like it makes more sense that way.
Straight
you know?
Jim.
Yeah, of course. So in that space, it's like, you know, that expectation, you know, is more important than managing any man's or woman time or money.
That's right.
Is managing their expectation.
Yeah.
If I can tell you I'm going to get a wire on Wednesday, right? And I tell my client, hey, man, the wire going to hit on Wednesday. I tell him on Saturday. He's expecting it. So the 10 grand he got on him, he getting ready to blow that.
He finna run
Because he's
through
expecting, however he wants to carry it, he's expecting it.
Bruh.
But if it doesn't come, then you're the worst guy in the world. So you have to manage that expectation. Anything you know, close that off on Monday. If you don't know the bank is closed on Tuesday as a holiday, let them know it's going to be a day late.
That's right.
Because you don't want to be the bad guy.
That's right.
I had a question about that for later, but I guess we can get into it a little bit now,
Sure.
maybe. But managing people,
Sure.
you know, in the management business, you got to manage those expectations of the people you're managing.
Lifestyles,
And
careers.
and that can be a little bit challenging.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be honest with you, you know, management. Sometimes, you know, like when people ask me, you know, like what I do exactly, like currently, they know I'm a founder, I'm a CEO, I'm president of a company, whatever. I have a couple of artists under my umbrella and make it seem minimum, right? Just to breeze through it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the hands-on day-to-day management, yo, bro, like I'm going to shoot you straight. You're managing somebody's heartbeat.
That's right.
You're managing someone's not only expectation, but you're also managing their depreciation as well too. Yeah. They don't get that. A lot of people don't know that, you know, when you have someone speaking for you, like I'm the manager, I'm the executive. If Verse is speaking for you, Cloth is speaking for you, they're going to look at you in the highest regard at this point. If Cloth was a bozo and he wasn't a guy that was a man about the business, then I would be a depreciating asset. And then in turn, he sits in the garage with me, he's going to bring his value down too.
That's right.
So that's the reason why I always let my fellow managers know, hey man, know when it's time to diversify.
That's right.
Know when it's time to have that conversation with your talents to let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing and what are you expecting? We have to be transparent with each other. Because a manager, not for nothing, is first off not your bank. He's not your psychiatrist.
That's right.
Right? He's not your loan company. You know, because the loan company and bank is different. You ain't going to use me for a savings account and just pick it when you want. And you ain't going to come get no money from me when you want to and just say we're going to get it back on the back end.
Right.
It's not going to work like that.
Yeah.
Because when you do that now, you're mismanaging expectations.
That's right.
When you start to do that, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
Because when you do, you're guilty.
Yeah.
So I had a good friend of mine, big shout out Walt Sutton, man. I had a good friend of mine tell me one time years ago. He said, man, that client right there, he gonna be a problem. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, no name, no blame. You know what I mean? The guy's been moved away from there now, but doesn't matter. But like, I just want to give an example and say, hey, man, look, he gonna be a problem. And I was like, why would you say that? He said, bro, let me tell you something. I know about those guys from those places right there, bro. He's gonna be an issue for you, man.
Yeah.
Trust me. And I had this one time I listened. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. Like, I'm gonna promise you, you will have unfestered expectations by clients. no matter how successful or unsuccessful they are. So
right.
this is the reason why when you move up to a different level, it's like nobody can come to me now and say, hey, man, can you manage me? I look at you. I don't know who you are.
That's right.
Like I'm a little Dirk. I'm a Champagne Poppy kind of manager. Like, you know what I mean? That's when you come get me on that level.
That's right.
When you made it. Like 50 to 100, I can't even do. You got to be at 100.
That's right.
Because that's where I'm at with it. You have to know the power of no in the business as well, too.
Come on.
Can't say yes to everything. I heard somebody say the other day, I say yes to everything. I don't.
Right.
Because guess what? You take all your power away when you start okay, that you start. Because somebody can see you. All right. Oh, yeah. You
got him.
So it's different. It got you locked in.
Yeah.
It's always a no.
Yeah.
Right? The reason why I'm saying that always a no, but it should always be standard a no until somebody gives you a reason to say yes.
It's a positive note.
That's what I mean. Positive no. And I say always be no, I don't mean no in a negative way.
That's right.
I mean always be no in your back of your mind.
That's
you know
right.
why? Because guess what? They say you're innocent until proven guilty, right?
Come on.
Well, move it. Let's back into this. When you're going for opinions and stuff like that and you're listening, it should be first. First. Always first. I said this the other night. It's brand over. It's like brand over belief. It's brand over belief. You might believe something is hot just because, like your homeboy said, it's hot.
That's
you
right.
believe. Oh man, this is my dream. I believe. I understand. You believe.
That's right.
But the brand research said this is what we should do.
That's what we should.
And when I go with belief, you go to the poorhouse.
That's right.
When I go
Straight
with
there.
brand, I go to the building.
Come on, man.
You know, you can go do all the other shit you want to do after you lock in your brand. No one ever has made it or crossed over whatever without having brand identification.
Up front.
Anybody that you can think of right now that's a superstar,
Come on.
they're a brand. It's just that simple. Because guess what? One of my other mentors, Bob Francis, told me this, and I live and die by this as well. When the body leave the room, the brand stay.
Come on, man.
You heard?
I'm going to drink all
Yeah,
my liquor
yeah, you
today.
feel me? Listen, I'm telling you, listen, culture eats strategy for breakfast all day. All day. The culture is going to tell you that your strategy is wrong.
Right.
The culture is telling you. Like, you thought your strategy was good by going to TikTok. You thought your strategy was good by launching on YouTube and say cheese and everything at one time.
Yes, sir.
But guess what? The culture said we fuck nigga free.
That's right.
Like, respectfully, right? Okay, that just changed the whole wind. Everything blew that way now.
That's right.
That's what the culture say. So culture just ate your
Overnight.
strategy up.
Yeah.
I got baby in my hand. I'm rapping. That's the new thing.
Yeah.
We ratchet hanging out the window. That's culture just told you your strategy ain't shit. It just showed you right there.
Yeah.
No matter how long it lasts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Because culture it shifts so much.
Yeah. So what do you feel, how do you feel about being able to shift the culture? Like, you know, like in a lot of cases, man, you know, in a management situation,
Sure.
you have to sort of be able to see when an artist actually has the ability to shift the culture.
Sure.
Is that a normal thing, or like, you know, 'cause some people think they can do it and they really can't.
Right.
Like, does that come from experience and like being able to like kind of see ahead of it?
You got to
or-
spot talent. It's the bottom line is this. What
Yeah.
happens is this. The game used to be artist and repertoire. Mm-hmm. It's no longer artist and repertoire. For those that don't know, artist and repertoire is what? A&R.
for sure.
At least it's supposed to be.
That's right.
Artist and repertoire. It's no longer that. In my day, of course, it was artist and repertoire. I hate to say it, makes it sound old, but artist and repertoire. Because right now, if you ask the executives, they'll tell you that's what it stands for. But it does no longer stand for artist and repertoire. A&R stands for analytics and research.
Research.
That's it. I don't have to have 8, because if I still practiced artist and repertoire with 18 A&Rs, and they would be circling the country finding the talent.
Yeah.
But let's back into this. Talent is last.
Yep.
Visibility, resources, popularity,
Brand.
then talent.
Yeah.
The brand goes into the popularity, because I can't be popular without establishing something for someone to buy, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. In that space, the talent is last. So the reason why I state this is because we have to remember this. Nobody will care if you have talent if they can't see you.
True.
Yeah.
Just that simple. It's
Yeah.
too many artists. 50,000 songs come out every week. How you gonna stand above the trash pile?
Come on.
How can you get notoriety? How can you get popularity? How can you get visibility? No one cares. You dropping on Friday? Okay, because guess what? Lil Durk dropping too. What's your launch plan?
Yeah.
So and our being analytics and research, right?
Sure.
How is that sustainable as a manager when you get someone who's got great analytics?
Sure.
But you said trends change, you know, and if talent is subjective, but
Sure.
how do you sustain somebody who may or may not, be like, I guess, full of what we call quote unquote talent.
Okay.
How do they sustain when they had a moment? How do you keep those moments going?
All right, so I'll give you a perfect example, right? Like, let's just say this, like most of your artists that are big right now, just say, for example, like 24K Golden or, you know, even Brent Fayez or DDG or any of these guys, they had moments. They all had moments and they catapulted from them, right? And how you keep that going is once you get hot, that's when you activate. Like, see, what happens is that a lot of people get hot, then they get lazy. They think everybody else is supposed to do the work. You still got to do the work. Like, for example, the talent. There's a lot of people out there that get talented along their route of popularity. There's so many artists out there that come in with no talent. You're like, oh man, this guy fucking sucks. But guess what? He stays around for about 18 months, 23 months in the market. He's hanging around this person, that person, this person, that person. He'll get better. And guess what? He's still around.
Yeah.
Right? So his 2 million monthly listeners, they leveled out at 900,000. That's okay. Because guess what? We're not thinking about him no more, and he's still at 900,000. Somebody did a job.
That's right.
So how do you stay relevant? To answer your question is to attack the hotspots. Hotspots are Google and Facebook ads, pushing through news wires, consistently dropping music, staying in the market, staying active. Period. You can look at it in any scenario that you want. If I drive past a gas station and there's nothing going on for 4 days in a row, why would I pull up over there?
Yeah.
If I can go to a gas station and it's buzzing all the time, lights are on, it's bright, look at that as an artist.
Yeah.
They're active. I've seen labels turn deals down because the artist hasn't released music in a
6
year,
months.
year and a half, 6 months, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how we know they're still hot?
Yeah.
Like, what? But that's how it is because they're chasing analytics and research. Easy to keep the numbers up, though. Respectfully, it's easy to keep the numbers up when I say that once you catch a torch. You just have to pay attention. Where are your hot spots at? You have to keep mashing the gas there. Because if they don't love you in Nebraska, they might love you in Ohio.
Yeah.
You know, you got to keep going there. That's why I tell people, Detroit artists, big shout out All-Star JR and my team out there, Jug Harden. I signed Jug Harden. He's amazing. Did a co-venture with the Wealthy brand. Big shout out Cuddy B and Rashad and my whole wealthy guys out there. But what happens is that Detroit, Ohio, St. Louis, like I love Detroit. Why? Let me tell you why I love Detroit.
Let me hear why you like Detroit.
Yeah, here you go. You know,
all right, in front of D.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Let me tell you why I love Detroit. I love Detroit music, right? And I love Detroit and the people in it. But I love Detroit music because I love how they support one another.
Come on.
Like, listen to me. To keep it 100 with you, I've had artists who I couldn't sign because they said, "Bro, I am good. I'm famous where I'm at. I got Ohio, I got Indiana, you know what I mean? I got Detroit, you know what I mean? I got the Nap, you know, we in, right? Like, you know, like, and I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I don't even need to go to radio and none of that. And he's not lying. Yeah. He's doing 7 to 8 shows a month at $10,000 a pop.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, he's doing 2 million views in 3 hours. All Detroit. So that's the reason why I love Detroit, because you can go ghetto gold in Detroit, what Master P used to call it back in the day, ghetto gold, out the trunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you support one another, just like, you know, Mac Dre, rest in peace, and the guys in the Bay from 40 across. Like, you know, Keek the Sneak, everybody across the board, they go 500,000 copies because everybody in Oakland buy it.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. You know, that's why I love Detroit music, because they support one another and they don't have to go. The only artist that ever came out of Detroit that was like boom, 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 like went there, might have been Big Sean, right? You know, Eminem.
Yep.
You know, just like, you know, Royce the 5'9" had a light because of Eminem, right? I'm just saying on the mainstream level. You know, coming out of the D. You know what I mean? This is just being real. You know what I mean? Everybody else is very successful in the D, from the Cheddar Boys all the way up. Like I do, I go all the way back with that. You know what I mean? So, you know, when you have your Peasies and you have your guys that's out now, like Babyface Ray's and people like that, hey, guess what? They're just an offspring of what was already great in Detroit. And that was the communication upon supporting one another. So that's why I love Detroit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
How you feel about that?
No, that's dope. That's dope. You know, because I'm from, you know, I think I'm around the same age. I'm from like the 90s when we didn't have any type of movement at all. Sure. At all. I'm talking about local was like local. Like Detroit's Most Wanted, Smile, like nothing.
Escort Boys and all that. Yeah, I was around for that day, for that day. I understand.
Yeah. So, you know, after Eminem came and then that was dope and Big Sean, but now it's like, it was
the whole movement,
like night and day.
The Gangsters is famous.
Like, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Icewear Vessel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Peasy. Big shout out to the boys. Like that's what I'm saying. Like they figured it out. Regardless of the fact of the matter, he has a whole brand. Rich Off Pints. Big shout out Icewear. Big shout out Sada Baby. Big Wayne.
Yep.
My team. Listen, I deal with them. You know, I got Sada Baby signed to Sony.
That's crazy.
I did his deal over at Sony Publishing.
Crazy.
You know, I brought him over there as well. I brought DJ Bands over there, OTF. You know what I mean? My brother, you know, big shout out, smirking the whole OTF over there. Like, you know, being very instrumental in a lot of key deals that, you know, a lot of people are, you know, very successful off of. And that's really great. And I love it. That's what I do. I'm in the business to change lives and continue to, you know, cultivate the narrative for the better.
That's fine.
You know.
Speaking of making deals and changing lives, let's talk a little bit about sync and licensing.
Sure.
You've been, for example, been with a lot of different movements, but 2K Games.
Yes.
You've been with them, what, I think 15 years now?
Yeah, almost 15. Big shout out to Rick Fox and my guys at Fox Sound Studios, man. You know, I've been in business for, we've been in business since 2000 and I want to say 10, 9, something like that. Well, my first project with them actually, like officially, was started in 2011. God bless the dead, Insane Wayne, the founder of the Drum Squad, drummer boy, older brother. He passed away. He was actually instrumental on building my relationship with 2K, which was Take Two Games, actually, which is the parent company of it, right? Yeah. Big shout out Sahai the Prince. We had a record on there called Sideways.
Okay.
That's what started the relationship. You know, he reached out. We had phone numbers back in the day on BMI. You'd be able to call the management or whomever you have it listed up there, and it would, you know, shoot the call. So anyway, you know, we ended up cultivating a great relationship, changing the lyrics around at the last minute, and you know, just showing improving. You know, I mean, it might have paid us, I think, $50,000 or something like that. But from there, you know, I cultivated a really great relationship. You know, and I was able to always, you know, have the artists and access to artists here, boots on the ground. You know, even when I did with Mike Will. When we did 2K18, you know, it was like, okay, who knows this guy? Verse knows him. Who knows this guy? Verse knows him. You know, I'm going to get it there so we don't have to deal with the front door label politics. And the next thing you know, someone doesn't call and the artist never gets the memo and those different things. So, you know, that, you know, I was key and I was, you know, really needed in that. So when you speak about sync and video games and placements and things of that nature, then that's my arena right now. That's how I became strong in it back then. That's where it started at. So we can go on and on about the things that were done between now and then. But, you know, from video games to TV shows,
right?
You know, big shout out Big Tank. You know, you know, right for sure. That's my brother right there, Big Tank. Derek Thornton, man, he's very instrumental. He has 11 shows. You know, that's currently on TV, including like, you know, The Shy and BMF and Force, etc. So, of course, I have a few writers signed to Sony Music Publishing as well too, and you know, so we usher the records. That's really what it is. I mean, sync works is just as simple as this. You get two sides. You have a master side and a composition side.
Yes, sir.
There's two sides. So when someone says, "Hey, this is 7,000 all in," that means for both sides. And then sometimes I've gotten a sync where we've had placements, you know, for records that on shows that's on Peacock where we were paid, you know, $21,000 per side. You know, and it was much higher. I mean, you know, it was like much higher than you would get paid on, you know, let's say, you know, like a Force or something like that. But that's okay though, because it's those are what they like to call sync records that are already out. Those records that are already out, they run more expensive. So if you want Big Sean ass record for this one scene, you might have to pay $75,000 to clear it, but your budget for that episode might only be $150,000.
Yeah.
So then you have to use a bunch of other records that are out there to fill up the rest of the show. But mind you, it's only an hour. It's not a musical, so you'll probably have about 8 or 9 songs in each episode.
Yeah. That's dope.
How viable is that a revenue stream for producers these days?
I think it's the easiest way to recoup. These days, if you are in a publishing deal, they should have a strong sync department. Whether you're dealing with Sony Music Publishing, they have a great strong sync department. Or Brian Monaco and Big Tank and the guys over there, Global Music Sync. And then you have
that's how I recoup for sure.
Yeah, with the syncs. And then also, you know, you have a really great sync department over at AWOL. You know what I mean? And, you know, these guys are like Lupe Fiasco said something the other day, and he was like, you know, Leo Cohen was like, man, what you want to do with your masters? Are you going to put them in a suitcase? What are you going to do with them? It was like, yeah, he's telling the truth, because if you don't have any sync companies or any opportunities to blast them out to people that really matter, then what are you going to do with them besides sell them?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, and that's what I think a lot of people are left with now. But with the sync, it's the easiest way to recoup, because if you think about it, that you take a $500,000 pub deal, you might have had one record, might have did subpar. Of course, you got to pay back 122%, right?
Yep.
So you might be in the hole still another 260, right? Okay, cool. Now we're going to do 30 syncs at $8,000 a pop, right? You're going to get one side. right? And the other side's gonna go back towards recoupment.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if it's worldwide territory, of course you'll get your rate for every time that the show comes on and it plays.
That's crazy.
But that's going back towards recoupment. That's the fastest way to recoup, and that's the best way to recoup because actually you don't have to worry about being in any one session.
Yeah, I got lucky in a situation where like I practically recouped off of I ended up with a major movie.
Oh yeah, now listen with the
That was
film
different.
movie. Now I'm gonna tell you now.
That was way different.
Levels in sync, like video game, and let me say this as well too. Big shout out to Melanie and Maggie over at Columbia Pictures. We worked together really tough with getting the music on the films. Now those are a different bag. It's a different bag there because, of course, you got to realize those film budgets are 30, 40, 50, 60, $70 million. So when I start talking about the soundtrack, that's a different bag. So yeah, they will pay me $100,000, $200,000, $150,000, $75,000 in perpetuity. Like while you're going through and the movie debuts and it reaches a certain. That's why I do deals based on performance. I don't do deals based off of just flat rate. All of my deals, distribution, sync wise, when it comes to film and stuff, they're performance based. So I have a good legal team that kind of has me there.
You fire out here, man.
I love it. Keeps me there. So
talk to a lot of execs, man. Very few, man. It's transparent and it's rare, man, to be able to get the real like this. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because it's so much money out here, bro. It's like I've never understood why people aren't able to talk about what it is.
Well, I think what happens is like a lot of people like to say, well, it's black on black crime. And I like to say it's just creative on creative crime. Because as an executive, you're still a creative.
That's right.
Right? And then I think regardless of the fact of the matter, like who will get you there, and then what you learn while you're there will determine how long you're able to stay. So if someone brings me in the Sony building and they get fired, but I've learned so much while I've been there and I've been an asset. So I don't go along with them. It's my choice whether to go along with them or I stay.
Yeah.
Right. So what happens is that once I'm able to stay, or I choose to stay, I should never be in a space where I should want to hold up any progress of a constituent of mine, even if he's not a friend of mine. Like someone called me the other day and was like, "Hey man, such and such," and I was like, "Oh yeah, what about him?" And I'm not even fond of the person.
Yeah.
What about him? Oh yeah, man, he's somebody sent me his resume, man. He's I got a VP spot open over here, whatever. What you think about it?
Yeah.
Now, I could have turned around and said, oh, man, he's a bozo.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That guy, nah, we ain't going to do that. Let me find you somebody, Rick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. And I didn't do that. I was like, oh, man, yeah, I know him. Oh, yeah, what you know about him? Is he cool? Because that's how we go off. They don't do this black and white resume. They're going to call somebody who they know and say, hey, man, Eddie, do you know Verse? Oh, yeah, I love Verse. I work with him on this project. That person, he's everything. That's all I wanted to know, bro. I'll call you back. You get one call.
That's right.
You get one call. They ain't doing no reference sheet. They ain't gonna look at your resume. Oh, I heard the guy. Yeah, okay. Most people get their jobs off of clout.
That's right, bro.
Respectfully, you know what I mean? Like, oh, they manage this person and they did this, they did that. Okay, cool. I don't want the job just because of that. Because guess what? It leaves me boxed in.
Yep.
Right. So I don't like to be boxed in. All my constituents in top general counsel, right? They typically will put me with whomever the A&R, the current president is. And that way I'm not sacrificing my integrity, man. You know what I mean? And just saying, like, I can't help my guys. Everybody that's in the business of music and the music business that work for the labels, I love them. I have a lot of good friends that still have their integrity and, they operate on a certain code. And, they are my friends and I love them for what they do for the business. You know what I mean? And for the narrative as well as their family, too. So it's not like I don't dislike anybody that works for the labels, right? But I just think that when you go to get the job with the label, right, that you should negotiate your contract the correct way. Big shout out, Joe Katz and, a lot of power lawyers that negotiate contracts for chairmen, right? They have their lawyers that negotiate for chairmen. So you want whomever in this position right here pays $2 million a year? Well, he wants $3 million a year and he wants $500,000. And if you fire him within the first 12 months, he wants $1 million severance check.
There it is. Yeah.
That lawyer worked that for you. Now you go in all green. Oh man, I'm happy to be the VP. You don't have a lawyer. They're gonna slid that in front of you because you're on a contract, right? So when you sign that for the $300,000, that ain't even no money. You getting ready to take this big ass headache and put up these wins, and they're gonna rough you off because you don't know no better. But your buddy should have been the man to tap you and say, hey, bro, I'm getting 600, bro, and I'm an EVP.
Yeah,
bro, man, they tapping you as P.
Yeah,
you gotta get 1 point something. Who your lawyer?
Yeah.
Oh, such and such. Nah, man, you gotta get this person over here.
Yeah,
that's when the relationship come in at. You know what I mean? They're gonna tap you with this person because guess what? He the chairman lawyer too.
Man, lawyers that's an important part of this that a lot of people.
It's the only important. Listen. It's the only part that really matters.
Yeah, I've learned that
respectfully,
over the years.
Like that matters on paperwork wise.
I've learned that over the years. Yeah, sure. Definitely had. some situations where like because of my counsel, like I ended up in situations that weren't quite.
Well, I'm gonna share this with you.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you this. When you go to prison, you got one file, you got one motion. Listen, watch this. I'm gonna share this with you. When you go to prison, you got one motion you can file to get out of prison.
Yeah.
It's called a 2255.
Yeah.
And that's ineffective assistance of counsel. They just don't have that in the music business.
They don't have it.
Right? So could you just imagine if you can go back on deals and say, hey, man, ineffective assistance of counsel, man, I didn't know I was signing away my rights. Hey, man, I didn't know they had 75. What is this 12 years of retention? 12 years? Yes, that basically means, sir, that after you're done with the deal, we can continue to collect for 10 more years. What?
Yeah.
Who signed that? You did, sir. It's a DocuSign. You want to see it?
And your lawyer signed it with you.
You want to see it? Your lawyer's a witness. Where he's at?
What the
Man, that
fuck?
guy's in Ibiza. I don't even deal with him no more. Means what do you want us to do, sir? And that's when you got to go beg and plead with the other publisher and say, hey, man, listen, I know y'all offered me $250, but listen, I owe $325 to the other boys. I need $550.
Yeah.
Because I got to buy myself out this other deal.
Yeah.
Now they're going to look back at your discography and say,
boy, stop.
man, he only got, man, that record didn't even do nothing right there, like for real.
It's over.
Nah, gang, I'm sorry. Listen,
over.
the deal's a little expensive for us.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be crickets.
Yeah.
Right? Respectfully. They're going to say, hey, we're going to have to, let me tell you how the paperwork gangsters do it, right? That's what I love. Big shout out Melissa Yermez and all my people over at Council, over at Sony Publishing, man. Like, I love it though, right? I love it. I like, I watch a hard stop in a sexy way, right? A hard stop in a sexy way. And it could be a man or a woman, doesn't matter. It's not either driven by either. The email says, hey, Verse, we're going to have to respectfully pause on this just until further notice.
Yeah.
What?
AKA it's over.
AKA the deal's dead. AKA somebody got fired. Something happened in between there, and they pulling the sheets back. Right? So watch this though. So that's when Verse has to do something different.
Right.
I have to change my gears. And then I have to call my mentor. And then he has to call one of his close friends. Say, hey, my mentee. Now I'm gonna be the learner now at this point. This is years ago.
Yeah.
My mentee, Verse? Yeah. Okay, listen, he has a deal over there.
Yeah.
In Limbo, man. Do you know about it? Yeah, man, it's with Miguel. It's like something going on with a Miguel record or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
We're not getting that done? No, man, my mentee just got some message and said something about, don't throw anybody under the bus.
Yeah.
Just got some message and said, hey, man, the deal's on pause, respectfully. And now once he relays the message, probably about 24 hours later, I get the email. Hey, Verse, we're pleased to announce we have another offer below. If you'll please see the attachment.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean? It's just a little different, and that's where I tell you about the sponsors.
Yeah.
So I don't ever worry about, like, and I say this like not like, oh, I don't ever worry about somebody trying to cut me out the game. And no, not like that. I don't worry about that because I know what my lane is. And my lane is wide, I cast a wide net, but I stay on that same lane.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? So it's a little bit just like I know where I'm at with it. Knowing yourself and knowing your gift, I think that's the superpower.
Yeah.
You threw something out a couple of times. You said the music business and the business of music. Mm-hmm. And I even heard a quote from you that said that you're not in the music business, you're in the business of music.
Correct.
Could you distinguish the two?
Okay, so this is the contrast. The music business is, hey, radio, promo. I got my flyers. I'm going to the club. I got sections. Oh, listen, man, how many spins am I getting? Hey, man, guess what? I got to deal with this curator over here. I got to mess with this DJ dinner right here, or I have to go and be at this event right here, the American Music Awards, or I have a spot data interview. I have this, that. That's the music business.
Yes,
I'm getting a track from this guy over here. I'm in the studio with Will Power. He about to hit me with a pack. That's the music business. Hey, man, such and such Ava Max. I got a call last night. Ava Max, yo, she need records. Say no more. I'm over there. Music business.
Right.
Music business. Okay. So when I step in and I'm an artist and I don't know shit, or I do know shit, right? Respectfully. Hey, man, who collecting for you? Huh? I got BMI. Sir, who's collecting for you?
Right.
I didn't ask who your PRO was.
That's right.
Who's collecting for you? That's the business of music.
Yeah.
So that's the lightest that I can put it, because guess what? That's going to spawn off into sound exchange. That's going to spawn off into territorial formats. That's going to spawn off into and say, hey, what are you getting on the master? Oh, I don't know. I think I get 1 point. 1 point. The standard is 3.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the business of music. Do you know what that adds up to be? Well, shit, I think Sir, respectfully, you just said you went gold, right? But I'm looking at 40 million streams. Yeah, man, it said it's going gold. What said it's going gold?
Yeah, because 40 million.
Because 75 million streams, sir, is gold in the new nucleus, right? Yeah. So I'm just trying to let's understand something first and foremost, right? It's like the business of music is not in the club, right? The business of music is not, at Pandora or at, Spotify or at, that's not the business of music. Like, that's lifestyle. Mm-hmm. That's the music business. When I go on a run, big shout out Gray Rizzy, Shade 45, and Hip Hop Nation and like that's the music business. I got to go see Gray Rizzy today. This, then the third, we got an interview from 5 to 6. That's the music business. Hey, I got to go up to see Julie Swindler, head of legal at Sony. That's the business of music. Hey, man, you know what? I'm turning around. What I'm getting ready to do, I got a rollover. I got another, I owe $380,000, but they about to do a new deal for me for $500,000. So I'm getting ready to owe $680,000. It's called a rollover. Yeah. It's the business of music. Sell my catalog, man, and, I only want to do the publisher share.
Yeah.
It's the business of music.
Come on, man.
Free game.
I love it, man.
Well, it's amazing. So what's next for the luxury group? Like, what can you talk about? What's coming up?
Oh, man. Like, right now, we have so much coming, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know where to really start, to be honest with you. Of course, we got Cicero from 808 Mafia, one of the clients under it. We got new Dirk records coming. We got new Normani records coming. We have new... Oh, man, we got a lot of new syncs coming there. We also have Ray Keys. Of course, we just dropped, just Corday's album just came out. We just got that there. We got Coco Jones' new single that's out there. We did with Camper. I'm just going down the list right now. Big shout out Ike. Sounds by Ike. He's one of my other producers, too. He's under the luxury group. We got a new Rihanna record coming, new single coming, dropping. Of course, we got a new Sean Paul single with a reemergence of him. New City Girl single coming. Man, I hate to keep saying because I was like a president of Toastmasters, so I really know how to speak. So I hate
So good.
But it's so much. We got various joint venture deals. We got Lil Bam coming, new album, getting ready to go do a new multi-million-dollar deal. Lil Bam is about to be finished with my one deal now. We got 2 more records to drop, and we going up. There. We got Liz, my new artist from London. LYVES, make sure you tap in. She's like the next Adele, crazy. Like we moving, it's just so much there. But
talk about diverse.
The umbrella, yes, very much so. Yeah, because it's not just rap. Big shout out Hero the band as well too, because I was managing them for some time, and they're making a lot of great moves as well too. Yeah. Just being there and having that understanding that music is multifaceted, so it goes across the board. So luxury group right now. Also, we have the Hip Hop and Hill Figure documentary coming as well too, very instrumental in that. Of course, nice. we just tapped in, man. It's like a lot going on right now, and I think that's exciting space, technology wise and business of music wise.
Yeah, that's dope.
For sure, 1,000,000%.
So like,
we got new Chris Brown too. I forgot about that.
Come
new
on,
Chris Brown. New Chris Brown in a piece featuring Anderson .Paak. That's another one. We just laid that. That's on the deluxe. So I'm sure y'all heard that already. But so much, like the placements be so easy for us now, and I say that respectfully just because I work so hard to get to that place where it's like a conveyor belt and having that, you know what I mean? Because everybody they're looking crazy. Yo, man, how I get in the room? How I do this? Respectfully, it's all about relationships. Yeah. My buddy was on the phone with Craig Kalman last night, 3 a.m. He called me. Hey, I got Craig on the other line. We need records for this person and that person. Yeah, because they know, like, I'm usually the guy that sends the idea. Like, I send it, like, they know the vibes. Like, me being executive and being humble, I'm like a sound guy. I place the music. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I know what producers to put with what. So I heard Jimmy Iovine say something some time ago, and he was like, you know what? You need a great producer to produce the producers. Yeah. I know that Ike goes good with this person. I know that Cicero goes good with this writer. I know that, Zeta goes good with this person over here. Like, I know how I place these people together, and I know what they can make. When I put Zeta and Ray Keys together, I knew they was going to make some crazy shit for Sweetie. I knew that, certain things like, and like I say, most of the time I get this from Barry too. Big shout out Barry Hefner. In the 80s, man, I love Barry. Barry's a really good dude. And we always always have this conversation, the difference between a song and a record. You know what I mean? And I say big shout out to him because he understands records, he understands music, and he gets it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we gotta get Barry on the show too.
Yeah, Barry's amazing. Yeah. Definitely, Barry's a really good guy, and he knows the business. You know, so that's like another one. That's like one of the only executives that I probably would say, you know, of current, you know, today, and he might be a little younger than me, is who I would listen to too. Like I would like pay attention. Okay, I like what Barry's saying. He's making a point. Yeah, you know. So I never hold up on my fellow constituents. Never.
Well, so man, how can people keep in touch with you, man? I mean, you know, we've been on your page a couple times. You kind of low key over there.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Now my page is like, let me share this with you. I recently got my Instagram page back. I had 400 pictures up there. Yeah. The hacker got my joint and started archiving a lot of pictures. Oh yeah. So what I did when I got it back days later, I just cleared the rest of them off, and I just put 6 to 10 up there because really most of the people they know me already. Like I wanted to get my gram back. The people that's on me, the people that I follow and follow me, even though I got their phone number, is different. Them 7,000 people right there about something. Yeah. I'd rather have 7,000 people, and let's just say, for example, that's a plethora of gold mines right there. Than have 900,000 people and like only but 20 people can do something for you. None of them can do anything for you. So it's about that back and forth. But yeah, people keep up with me on my social medias. Everything Cloth Talk Verse, CLOTH Talk Verse VERSE on all platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as well too. The Luxury Group you can follow on the business page. The Luxury Group THEE, Luxury Group LUXURYGROUP. I should be able to always spell, especially if I went to Cornell.
Yeah, there it is.
Right. So man. So that's where we at with it, man. You know what I mean? Big shouts to y'all for having me, man. It's been an amazing time. I mean, it seems like it's so crazy. It seems like, you know, it's not enough time. You know how it is, but man, I'm appreciative of it. We have so much.
We got so much game out of this. So much, man. I'm just really glad that you came, man, and you know, and dropped these gems because, you know, we do this regularly. Sure. And we get a lot of good stuff from a lot of people.
I saw KP. Big shout out KP Kwan.
Came on,
amazing. I saw that. That was amazing. I loved his interview. You know, and like I did look at the most recent. One I scrolled past one Ray had, but I didn't want to look at it. It was an hour long, and I was like, damn, I want to try to get to something that was, you know. And I definitely love the way you narrate and do your thing. You know what I'm saying? For real. Because y'all got a good energy. I didn't know what it was when I looked at it. I was like, oh, okay, boy, got good energy. Oh, they're going this way right here. Okay, say less. So that's fine. It fit the description. I understood the assignment. So
there it is,
you know, we're here.
Well, thank you, man, and you know, we giving flowers.
Thank you very much. You know I appreciate that.
And we'll check back with you, man. And you know, probably 18 months. That's my thing.
Yeah, we should be up another 5 million records.
I already know.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? You know how we do it. You know what I mean? Conveyor belt for sure. 1,000,000%. Luxury Group is a luxury team. Y'all know the vibes. Cloth Talk. That's all it is.
FreeGame Podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, that way.
Dope.
Yeah, so you know, I mean, you know, we gotta make that shit spicy, you heard? Yeah, that's the way, you know, keep it